All right, everybody, welcome back to the Ultimate Fantasy Locker Room. And how is it going, boys?
It's going good. I'm putting
I'm
putting my Buckeyes gear back up on the desk.
You have to take that down after round one.
Somebody took it off.
Yeah, I don't think it's time for a football helmet. I think we're firmly in the middle of at the beginning of March Madness. So
it's always time for football. So how are you?
Fair point.
How are you guys doing?
Good. We're doing good. Me and Mark are gonna murder each other.
I know. Yeah, they've already been fighting. So this is gonna be it's gonna be a good show. I can tell.
No, I'm good. I love Mark.
No, it's fine.
Antone, you were telling us some big news about your son. He's starting his practices.
Yeah, man. Took his first snap live today in spring ball, and lots of photos and stuff showing up on Twitter and other places. So it's good to know that he's there, and it's for once I'm not having to film practice, so it's kind of cool.
That's awesome. So he's liking it pretty well so far?
Yeah, so far so good. You know, he reported back January 5th, so he's been there for a while. He's going through a full semester. Already got through a cycle of weightlifting and gotten bigger, stronger already, and throwing the ball well. So adjusting really, really well, right on schedule.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, the South Carolina is Kenny Rattler went out there too, right?
Yep.
Is that
Spencer? Yep, he sure did. And I actually, I think it's a good thing, right? You get to learn, you get to see what good is, and you can decide if you want to emulate that, or at least learn and take away a few tools from that. So I think it's a good situation.
Yeah. No, when I had first heard it, I felt bad. I was like, damn, man, I was looking forward to your son, coming right out of the gate. And then they signed Rattler. And I don't know, your son, possibly still beats Rattler out. But I then thought about how you guys would feel about it. And I thought to myself, oh, maybe it is a good thing, because here's a guy, Rattler coming in with all that experience from Oklahoma. And maybe, like you said, there's some positives and there's some negatives from his game that your son can probably take away from. But is he participating in spring as well?
Oh yeah, everybody's full go, and yeah, you always want to go in and start, right? But the quarterback position, in my opinion, and the O-line position are those two positions on the field that you really, if you can, right? If a team can, you sit on the shelf and marinate and just develop, and also you get to compare yourself against what good looks like. I mean, regardless of what you may think about Rattler off, it's a good quarterback. And probably got some good things that he can teach Braden. And you never know how a season goes. We all seen that, right?
Yeah.
You never know when your name's called. So, one, he gets the chance to learn. Two, he can get a chance to be ready. And you never know what may happen throughout the season.
Yeah,
exciting.
All I can think of as Spencer Rattler is that
Spencer Rattler. I said Kenny.
Yeah.
Spencer.
Is a QB1, that show QB1. I don't know if you've seen it. Yeah.
I've heard about it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, he didn't come off super good in that show. He came off a little bit. Yeah. His family came off really well.
He comes off cocky, right? Yeah. I heard that. How did Braden feel once he came? Did Braden want to see him in South Carolina? Did he want to learn from him, or?
Well, Braden's a competitor, right? And all of us competitors want to play. It's that simple. But the reality is, with the transfer portal the way it is now, it's essentially a merry-go-round. It's the second round of the draft, if you will. In a lot of respects. In some respects, it's the first round now, with guys getting selected out of the portal. But here's the thing, right? Adversity comes, and you decide how you're going to handle it. And when Braden found out that this was coming, his response was, "That's great for our quarterback room, and that doesn't mean we're not going to compete, right?" So he has the right mindset. He knows where he is. He's grounded. Anything that, team first, if it can make the team better, fine. Then it also takes pressure off Braden to have to come in and produce right now, learn a brand new offense, learn a brand new system, brand new receivers, the whole bit. So I think there's good in it. I think there's, obviously, there's out of everybody that want to be on the field.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Because you get to see it from both sides. And I know I'm looking forward to when when your son takes that offense over. I think it's gonna be neat to watch.
Phil, you're kind of quiet.
Well, you guys are talking. I mean, I was listening to the tone. I do want to say though, I'm the only one here that had Tennessee going to the national championship.
Oh no, yeah. Where did I have?
I had them
Tennessee?
losing, but I had them going to the national championship.
I had
what's that, like a
Tennessee
month from
going
now?
to
No,
the
like
Elite
2-3
Eight
weeks?
What the?
and
the
losing
national
to
championship.
Arizona. I had UT going to the Elite Eight and losing to Arizona, and I had Arizona winning.
I like how we're talking about a later part of the show
Well,
first.
yeah, but I mean, still, I'm saying, you know,
Like you guys are giving away your answers that are on the show after what we're talking about
That's
now.
true. I will delete it.
but Antone will be not on the show, you know. So, Antone, are you a big March Madness fan?
You know, I'm starting to be, now that I've become really kind of a bracket expert.
Expert,
I
huh?
typically win. My winning percentage is really high right
Yeah,
now. I'm like
yeah.
100%.
Yeah, he won
Bracket that
last
I've
year.
1 year.
competed in,
Yeah.
Yeah. He won.
But I'm 100%, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Never lost.
The best part is
never
on the text thread. He keeps asking Jared. He's like, "Who won last year?" And he's forcing Jared to keep answering him. It's awesome.
I think Antone picked by color last year, like his favorite color, because, but somehow he
It's
won.
not a bad strategy.
Yeah, he won. So,
I don't know how I picked. I mean, honestly, I don't know what I did.
but you won,
I
man.
was
That's all that matters.
but yeah, I won. And but yeah, it's good. It's exciting. It's something to do when football's not happening.
Yeah. And football's not happening right now. So,
it is not.
all right.
All right, so we're gonna talk some FAs, right?
Pressing issues. What's the issue? If there's issues, we're gonna press them.
Yeah. Come on now. Hey, baby, ready. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
awkward.
sorry about
even,
that.
even
I didn't know you were gonna play the sound there, man.
even more than most. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mark and I talked about it before you came in today,
Yeah.
because Mark and I were able to have a conversation.
Civil
Yeah,
conversation.
not argue. But then when you come in, it just, it starts.
Everything's simple once he comes in, according to him.
I'm a whirling dervish.
He just makes everything simple for everybody.
All right. So it has been a crazy, like, to me, it feels like every year the free agency period becomes crazier and crazier.
Yeah.
And this is no different. So it's been a flurry of signs and it's.
So let me before we get into this, right? I had a question. If we wanted to maybe talk, I know we had a order we were going to do this in, but do we maybe want to talk about the movement that was not free agent signings, like Wilson, maybe Rodgers re-signing, or touch on maybe
I think we have
Deshaun Watson, and then get into the free agents, because I think those are like overarching things that are going to affect free agency.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely gonna. Let's face it. The quarterback free agent market didn't open until Rodgers re-signed anyway.
Yeah.
Because every team was waiting to see what kind of chips they had in the in the stake there. And once Rodgers signed, all of a sudden it was a frenzy. The gates opened up, and it was like,
Well, and not just in the QB world, but like the Browns trading for Cooper prior to the start of the free agency also affected the wide receivers.
There you go.
I think the Browns looking to see that they were going to have to get a wide receiver by force.
Yeah, probably. But I just seen before we started recording that Watson's going to meet with the Browns too
today.
Yeah.
Today. Yeah.
and he
What do you
just
think
met
about
with
that?
Carolina too.
So here's the weird thing. Deshaun asked,
and the Saints, I think.
and the Saints, and he asked Atlanta today to meet with him.
Well,
So
they
he's-
said Atlanta's now the dark horse to
Right.
obtain Watson, which I don't know.
It's Atlanta. That's why Atlanta's like the new New York.
No, I know that, but I mean, they've shipped off everybody good in the last 2 seasons.
Antone, how do you feel about this? So Deshaun, he is not guilty of any criminal charges. We know that he got found not guilty. There are 22 civil cases.
Mm-hmm.
So a team that is going to trade for him is still inheriting some baggage, right? I think, will still be suspended by the NFL. And he won't face criminal time, but he could still be caught up in court.
Yeah, but he won't face any jail time.
No jail time. So what do you guys think about this whole thing? And if your team was going to trade for them, like the Browns are, or trying to, how would you feel about it?
I want to hear what Tone says first.
Yeah.
Put me on the spot, man. It's a tough situation because I think it's obviously good for him if he's found not guilty. If there was not enough evidence or whatever the criteria is to decide if he's not guilty, I think that's good for him. But it's clearly bad for the victims in this case, and I still think it may still be too early to tell to see what actually comes out of these cases. And sadly nowadays you can't really form a real opinion because you're going to offend someone if you choose either side. And I still have to maintain down the middle and just say it's an unfortunate situation. I'm sure he would like to put it behind him. I'm sure everybody involved would like to put it behind them. But when you think about that in terms of a team, you're 100% right. If a team picks him up, they're making a statement, right? They're saying, look, nothing happened criminally, so we're okay with it. So that's a new standard maybe for the NFL. I'd like to see him play football. I'd like to believe he's a good person. I'd like to believe some of this stuff was not as serious as it was alleged first thought. But you just don't know enough to be able to form a real opinion. But I'd like to see him play football.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it is too early to tell what actually did or didn't happen. I do think it's a big deal that he wasn't indicted on any of these charges criminally. Yeah. That doesn't mean something deviant didn't happen or something like maybe that was a little bit, outside of the lines didn't happen. But just like strictly from a business football perspective, I still think that if the guy gets suspended and he's 25, 26 years old.
26.
I mean, I think any team that gets him is going to be happy to take the suspension.
Because he is.
Well, it depends on how long it is.
No, I think if you lose the guy even for a season, because here's how I look at it. I think there's a certain I will call them blue blood teams, right, or franchises in the NFL that are not going to touch him. And I think if you're one of these other teams that will consider signing him, if you're the Saints, if you're the Falcons, if you're the Panthers, look at where those teams are right now as far as the quarterback position and just in general. They're, the Steelers said they have no interest in him. So those type of teams, I thought the Giants would be a dark horse, but obviously they won't because they just don't want to have their name mixed up with him, which I don't agree with. But if you're one of these other teams that don't have to necessarily worry about this standing in the league or whatever it is, and you get a 26-year-old who the last season he played was a top 3 in every important stat for quarterbacks, and you could potentially sign him for 5-6 years, basically have him through his prime. In 2 years from now, unless he does, things change and he does jail time, I think you're gonna forget about this stuff. I mean, it'll follow him for the rest of his career, but the more he plays, the further away you get from it.
Yeah, once he gets on the field,
it's going to become a side story.
We need to see a resolution to this too, right? Because we need to know, did these 22 women? It's different if all 22 women came forward at once, or was it like one came forward and then all of a sudden it's a cavalcade of
it was
inappropriately, yeah.
You know what? I'll give you some
is
insight.
This a pattern of behavior or is this bullshit? Is this unfounded? Did somebody mistake or, did they get the signals mixed up and it went too far and then everyone else was like, oh, wait, but he kind of said the same thing to me too. And even though it all may not have transpired the same way in every single case, are they really founded? Let's get a resolution to this. That way we can know whether or not we want to root for this guy.
Well, what I'll say is I think you could probably back this up a little bit is with class action, it's not a class action suit. Or maybe it is, but I don't know. But I've been involved in those before. When a group of people, well, what happens is with DraftKings, I got a settlement because there was insider trading going on, right, with betting with them. They blast emails, they contact you and they send you the thing to sign. All I had to do was sign, and they just put it on the docket, and then you get a payout. The way this happened seemed like there was one woman that reported something, and then all of these women had the same
story.
Well, I think they were all kind of corralled by the same legal team, and then it just kind of started piling on. Not saying, like I said, not saying that nothing happened, but it did kind of seem like it was day to day more cases were being added. It wasn't as if it was a united front from the beginning.
Yeah.
which does throw into question how valid it was. Not saying it wasn't, but I mean, there's a lot. I just think that when you go in front of a grand jury, it's tough to still think it's something criminal happened if they choose not to indict him on any of them.
Right.
Well, so this is. Go ahead, Anton.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, and I think that's a great point, Phil, because 22 people and nobody can produce anything that would, be deemed as criminal. That you cannot disregard or ignore who the guy is, right? And people know who you are a lot of times, and quite frankly, players can be targeted, whether we like to say that or not. It doesn't invalidate anybody's feelings or anybody's claims. But 22 people and no one could produce anything that says this actually happened. So so here's the question you have to ask yourself. One of you guys just said, I would like to see him play. Maybe he'll play. Maybe it'll follow him. If something happened, what should the punishment be and how long? Like does he lose his entire life? What is he banished to? Is he banished to, cleaning toilets, or can he play football again? So what, you know what I mean? Like, what are we willing to sacrifice for this guy's life to say he's worthy of playing football again?
Yeah, and just to drive the point home with the grand jury is just like any other jury. It's a group of citizens, and the climate that we're in, I think that if something that were really that close to being what he's been accused of, I think they would err on the side of,
so
trying to bring up criminal charges on him. It's not like,
so let me do the
you're in
counterpoint.
the 80s and it's a different climate.
So let me do the counterpoint, because I didn't think the Browns would want anything to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the last 24 hours, I've had to come to grips with, holy crap, he might be coming to Cleveland. And I know that they've done their due diligence. I know that they've had their legal team looking at this for probably months. I know that they've sent teams down to Houston, that they probably interviewed as many of these girls as they could. I know that they've done their work, so they must feel okay that there were no criminal charges that could be produced, and that he's probably going to settle civilly and be done with this.
Yeah.
But as a father to 3 daughters, and as I started, and I would encourage you to go and read these girls' statements, because what the statement produces is that he's a predator, and that what he did was he knew that he would only use these women once. He would lure them into a situation where they could not record, because it's a situation where you can't record. And then he would cast them aside and go to another one. In other words,
we get it.
He's a predator.
Yeah. Well, allegedly.
Allegedly.
But it also seems like that would be an obvious picture to paint too, if you were trying to bring him up criminally.
Sure, but look at it this way: the team has, and we've talked about some of this. The team has, massage people. He could have gotten them there.
Right.
Ex-NFL players have gone on record to say, I've had massages, but normally you kind of stick with 1 or 2 people. They become kind of yours.
That's what I was going to say. That's a good point, Rocky.
Right. He had 22.
Yeah.
They were all women. They were all young women. They were all attractive women. They were all, and this is only 22 that came forward. There's probably more that didn't.
Which we've said that.
Something happened. And I hate to say it. Something inappropriate happened. Maybe he felt like it was consensual. Maybe he felt like they was but the chance of nothing happened.
That's fair. Go ahead.
I was going to say to put a lighter spin on this and bring us into free agency here with football is how funny is it that as a Browns fan, you're worried about him coming to Cleveland to take over the team, whereas the people in Houston are very fearful that Baker Mayfield comes to Houston, and he had
this is the weird thing.
No allegations. They just don't want the guy.
I've asked for every quarterback to come to Cleveland
You basically begged.
but I don't want Watson. I do not want, and here's the crazy thing. If we were drafting based on talent alone, he would probably be my 3rd quarterback off the board. Pure talent. he would be my third quarterback, especially when you mix in the fact that he's 26.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have wanted Ben Roethlisberger in Cleveland?
No, but what I'm saying is, but I don't want him coming because there's baggage. I don't know that we've seen it, and I don't know that I could root for him.
I think you root for him.
You would. I've seen you sell your soul for a lot less.
But here's what's like to just, we got to move off this, but just to, you gave a counterpoint, and the thing is that you're still making assumptions.
Yes,
and we still don't know.
We don't know anything.
And at the end of the day, you're rooting for a football team, okay?
Right.
And I'm sure there's a lot of guys that do things that may be as bad.
But you don't even know.
Well, maybe as bad as what you think, or maybe worse than what he's done.
And the NFL is screwed up because you got Josh Gordon, who has paid penalty after penalty for doing drugs.
But he just, I don't put that on the same level. So,
well, but to me, you have allegations now with many players where it's been something against a woman, and they've seemed like they've gotten their hand slapped and been allowed back in the league. So I think the NFL's got to fix some things.
That's true. But the thing with Watson is, a lot of the things you're talking about is like men, players, like domestic stuff.
Yeah.
And we just don't know what happened. I mean, it could have been as simple as Watson trying to sleep with the masseuse and it not going the right way, right? That's to me.
You're right.
I mean, maybe it's not
something I would not want to root for a guy because of.
And it's not far fetched. I mean, he has like a 5 or a 6 head for crying out loud. So it's a good. There's a good chance he got turned down every time he attempted.
So let me spin it to a lighter note.
Yeah.
Okay, Houston has said we don't want Baker.
Mm-hmm.
God, this poor guy. Number one, Cleveland can't go back to Baker now.
Yeah, they can.
No, his career is done in Cleveland.
I don't think so.
They are already pursuing trades for trading Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is this poor guy? Honest to God.
And you root for Cleveland.
But you've been propositioning quarterbacks the last 2 weeks. So
and
what are you talking
your
about?
team just publicly sodomized their current starting quarterback. And here you are worried
propositioning
about
quarterbacks and saying you're gone, Mayfield, is one thing. Telling Mayfield you're our guy, and then flying to Houston, courting Deshaun.
I don't see a difference.
I don't think you can come back from this. I mean, Anton, do you agree? Like, poor Baker's got a right to be pissed.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't think after what they've done, then there's going to be a lack of trust. I don't know that he wants to come back.
Yeah. I think that they don't want him back. It's clear. I mean, they've said they do, but it's clear they don't.
Houston also doesn't want him. Let me keep driving that point home to you.
And Houston is Houston.
I don't blame him. I think I would prefer Davis Mills. Honestly, I think he's got more upside. Yeah, we should have a sound effect for this one because we are going straight into our Trubisky tracker.
Yeah.
Don't worry. By week 2, when he's on the bench, you guys will have forgotten all about this goddamn
Let me ask you a question. Has any quarterback in the history of the NFL resuscitated and made his career better by not playing? Has any quarterback done a better job of that than Trubisky? Because he's resurrected himself by not playing and sitting on the bench.
Well, now
Buffalo.
to be fair,
Mike Glennon signed 2 huge contracts based solely off of being quote unquote the best backup quarterback in the league.
That's fair.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
When you look back, looking back at Mitch's stats and the hindsight of seeing how bad Nagy is, does it change your perspective at all? I mean, he was
no. I mean, so we're all fans of our team, so we watch our teams pretty intently, right?
Yeah.
Everything you read about Trubisky and what he does, how he stares down receivers and he doesn't work through progressions, like that's just not me griping every week. Like he legitimately would not work through progressions. Can I make a point though? Yeah. Is that Matt Nagy telling him?
No. But he was also a guy that only played how many games in college?
One season.
Yeah, one season, and then in the first, second year.
Yeah.
I mean,
so then don't.
And what you heard,
I'm saying
right
the guy
like
could have. Well, yeah, that's fair, but that doesn't mean he's terrible either.
What you heard from Chicago, all the coaches said they loved him. He worked hard. He wanted to learn. He was first.
And Brian Dable wanted to bring him into the Giants, and he coached them all last year.
So between season 1 and season 4, there was no change with how he played, though. And he actually regressed because he took him to the playoffs in his second year.
That's fair, but let me ask you this, Tone. That could also be pointed towards coaching, right? His progression is not just on the quarterback coming in and progressing. It's coaches coaching a guy up and helping them progress. They don't come into the league knowing how to be NFL quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I don't know that you can really. I mean, you can say getting to the playoffs is part of his progression, but I think that really attributes to the team around you, right? He can suck and still make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got a good enough supporting cast, so you almost have to look at him as an individual, look at his QBR rating, look at his progression as an individual player.
Yeah. Well, and I think like you look at the team he had, it was a good team, especially in offense, especially compared to what Justin Fields is going to have next year, it seems.
Yeah. I mean, they turned Allen Robinson into an outside. They turned him from an outside threat into an interior possession receiver during the prime of his career. So what does that tell you too? I mean, if they had to alter Allen Robinson's strength as probably top 10 most gifted wide receivers in the league.
Yeah, but
I mean, that tells you something about Trubisky.
I'm not so convinced that that's not Nagy. I don't know that's Trubisky because he has all the skill.
So what I'm telling you is you can physically watch Trubisky lock in and just follow his first receiver all the way, not working through the guys that are open.
I agree with you. That's always been my criticism. Well, was my criticism of him. My point is that
when you play on the practice squad.
Well, what I'm saying is when you draft a guy, knowing that he's only played 1 year in college.
I get that.
You understand that he has to be developed, right? You're drafting him based on potential. Now, I can make a comparison to Ryan Tannehill, who was with another guy that was terrible in Miami, right?
What's your threshold then? How long are you going to give him?
Well, if we think Matt Nagy is this bad, then I think you have to give him a chance to be around good coaching. If we believe that Matt Nagy is that bad. You had Tannehill, who was with an Adam Gase in Miami, right? And he was banged up, but you didn't really see a lot of progression. You've seen flashes. We've seen some flashes with Trubisky, and especially in that second season. You get Tannehill, who goes with a good coaching staff, that's a good supporting cast. And Tannehill has been a lot better. We don't think he's the best quarterback in the league. He's doing a lot better than he was in Miami. So you're telling me that Trubisky...
But he's in a better situation, but he's still playing the same way that he did in Miami.
Well, you don't know how he's playing because he didn't. What are you saying, Tannehill?
Yeah, he still threw the ball around. He was still running around like he does in Tennessee. Only it fits Tennessee's scheme better, and you're still getting the same Tannehill that you got in Miami, and that's not winning in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, that's not fair. They have won.
Right. So Trubisky, you want to see them progress as a player.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if the guy's still going on his first reads 4 seasons in, there's a problem there. That's not your coaching. That's your ability to play the position.
It goes hand in hand.
Then you should get a combination of both in there.
I believe, and I'm curious to see what you think, Tone. I think his stats, first of all, were pretty good. Like even his touchdown to interceptions, they weren't perfect, but they were pretty good. I think in Pittsburgh, with a new system, a new coach who's been wanting to change, he has not wanted to run Big Ben's system.
No.
This is his first chance to run his system. They've handpicked their quarterback. They wanted Trubisky because of his attributes, his mobility.
Same reason that Chicago drafted him.
That's right.
It's going to be interesting to see, honestly, in Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh got rid of the one receiver that benefited from Mitch Trubisky.
Not yet.
If Juju,
so there's a chance they can re-sign him.
So Juju is your short yardage guy. That's what Mitch excelled at. So you're saying his stats are great as completion percentage. Look at what his average yard per throw is, and it's awful. But Pittsburgh is a more down the field type of team. So it'll be interesting to see how that does play into Mitch's game because, like I said, and I'm going to stick to it, Mitch doesn't work through his progressions. And if you're going downfield, you need to go through multiple progressions unless you're just throwing to the first guy on the fly.
Anton, what do you think? What does your gut say he's going to, how is he going to do in Pittsburgh?
I think he'll actually do very well. I think players a lot of times do well when they change environments, and a lot of times it has to do with individual coaches and individual relationships and philosophies. Some philosophies will adjust their team or their offense to the quarterback, and some people will just be like, the quarterback got to figure out my system, I'm not changing. So when you get the person that's willing to do that, and guys, look, they studied a lot more than us. You know they're seeing the same things you were seeing, right? We're seeing the same type of quarterback.
Right.
We're seeing the same type of play, and they're going to decide way ahead of time because they already have players on the roster that really probably should be in line to play, and they're not. And for them to want to go ahead and get Mitch in spite of this, to sort of replace Ben is a big statement. So they must feel very confident that they can get this player to play and maybe almost protect him in a way until he's comfortable.
That's a really good point.
And they got a great defense. They had Najee Harris, who looked fantastic last year and should improve with a better offensive line, which they're kind of shoring up some through the draft and through free agency. Pat Freiermuth looked phenomenal. They have two good receivers, and at the 20th pick now, they don't have to go quarterback. They can get Jahan Dotson from Penn State. They can get David Bell. I mean, they can get the replacement for Juju, and I think a receiver coming into that slot position that Juju does, it's the easiest position to learn in the NFL.
Now, look, I'm able to argue both sides of the coin. I'm not a total a-hole here, right? I don't think that Mitch. I think Mitch was brought into Chicago under
You're at least 3/4 an a-hole.
Well, I'm not going to deny that either. But the terms in which he came to Chicago were not the greatest, right? Yeah. He'd only played one season at the collegiate level. Chicago traded up to get him to come in and be the man immediately. And this was after signing Mike Glennon to a huge contract that offseason. He supplanted Mike Glennon in week 2 or week 3, whatever it was. So from the onset, he had to live with, they traded up to get me. I beat out a veteran that they paid a lot of money for, and then also had to face the fact in the years to come that he was drafted ahead of Patrick Mahomes, ahead of Deshaun Watson. So now he's got to live with that. I'd imagine in Chicago, that probably felt like the city was on top of him.
Yeah.
So he needed to change the scenery. So maybe he went to Buffalo and matured. Maybe he relaxed. Maybe he is a better player. Hey, I'm not rooting against the guy. I would love to see him, succeed in Pittsburgh. And then that would just drive home the fact that Matt Nagy should never head coach in the NFL again, because what he did with that system was awful. That team was built to win at the time, and he couldn't get it done.
That's true. And you know who I'm excited to see play?
Yeah, who?
And who's built to win? The Chargers.
Yeah,
Chargers. And I tell you what, those guys are making moves. J.C. Jackson, trading for Khalil Mack, able to stick Asante Samuels Jr. in the slot now.
They brought in Joseph Day, low-key defensive tackle.
I like the
re-signed Mike Williams.
And I think that they got Mack for next to nothing.
They did get Mack for next to nothing.
I don't even understand that trade.
Well, because he's been banged up. But what's nice about them is that he's not going to be your primary pass rusher now.
Right.
Yeah. You got Bosa on the other end, and
he's got gas left in the tank. I think he's going to be a good. And I love the signing of.
I love J.C. Jackson.
I do too. I like J.C. Jackson.
Yeah, the Charger. For my money, this offseason has made the AFC West a clear-cut favorite for toughest division in football. Yeah. Those teams are making moves.
Well, you had
Denver
Wilson.
goes out and race. They go out and get Dangerous to match with those wide receivers. They're going to let Melvin Gordon go, so they're going to feature Javonte Williams.
Are they for sure letting Melvin go?
I'm almost certain they will, because the money against the cap benefits them to let him go. They are super excited about their tight end that was playing behind Fant. I'm not even going to. I will butcher his last name if I say it, but. I had seen an expose on him the other day about his attributes. He's a freak of nature, and you pair him with Sutton and Judy with Dangerous, and then Javonte Williams. That offense potent, and then they go out and they get a couple of key defensive pieces here too. Denver's going to be a contender. Chargers are a contender.
Well, the signing they just did today, they picked up another defensive edge.
Yeah, Randy Gregory, who had signed with Dallas.
Yeah.
After signing, Dallas wanted to alter the terms, and he said, "I'm out." Denver,
tell you what, that Dallas team's going to look different.
I think that Dallas is going to be appreciably worse. I don't see how they've gotten better. I think that they've lost at least their second best receiver, and I don't believe Gallup is going to be able to replace. They're just different.
Cedric Wilson just signed. Yeah. What did Cedric Wilson sign?
He signed with Detroit. Is that correct?
No.
He signed with Miami. Cedric Wilson, Miami, yeah. So I think they're going to look different on defense, too. I think losing Randy Gregory was a big deal. Yeah. And I think putting Randy on that defense, it kind of is that Von Miller role. I like it. Yeah. It's going to be a tough division.
Yeah. So that being said, do we think Wentz catapults Washington to maybe what he did last year, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I think on that Washington team last year, they're competing for the division.
I mean, their defense is going to be a lot stronger. Anton, do you have any feelings about Carson Wentz? Like, what is your take on him?
I like him. I think he's a player. I think he had a stroke of bad luck a couple of times, and I still like him. I still think he has a lot of years left. And just being in the right system, I think, means the world for him. So I still like him as a player.
If you can't do something with this offense, then you can't do something.
Well, I'll say this though, but the Redskins, Washington has lost probably two of their best players in the last 2 seasons. You lost Brandon Scherf this year is probably their best player right now, currently, and they lost. Why am I blanking on his name? Their left tackle the year before.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Who plays for the 49ers now?
Trent
Williams.
Trent Williams, yeah.
So that offensive line is not what it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that it's the perfect situation on offense.
Well, but I think that they did draft somebody last year on the line who got injured and didn't get a chance to play last year, but comes back this year. And they do have a couple picks early that they can maybe address the offensive line. And they got Curtis Samuel coming back that they signed last year, who was hurt.
He was a rumor last year.
But yeah, he was. But
Diami Brown coming back for a second season, but they did just lose. I don't think they're done this offseason because they did just lose J.D. McKissick today. Yeah. Who McKissick is a
well,
great
and I didn't think about
dual threat.
I didn't think about what you're saying, and also what Tone said. 27-7. It's appreciably better than what they had at quarterback last year.
A lot better.
And no offense, the division, listen, that could be enough to get him over the top.
Wentz had a good year last year that was painted terribly bad because of the last
game. Week 18.
Yeah, but do you think there's any truth to like the rumors coming out that he's arrogant, won't listen, he isn't like a team guy? Because it seemed like in Philadelphia, everything we heard was strong Christian guy, upright team player. Everybody loved him, especially during that Super Bowl run. And now
I've heard both. I've heard players saying they like him. I've heard stuff where guys didn't really. He was kind of separatist from the team. And,
yes.
But I did hear that he is difficult to deal with.
Out unless there's some truth to it. I'm not saying it's 100% true, but that stuff usually doesn't start leaking out unless there's some truth to it.
What I heard is that he's tough to deal with for the coaches. Like, he doesn't want to be told what to do. I don't know how true that is, but
I mean,
he's bounced around.
When you come out of North Dakota State, damn it, the coaches should listen to you.
I think the biggest thing is that we were talking about this last offseason is that Frank Reich brought him into Indy, right? That's his guy.
If you're going to succeed,
you burn out for after one season, there's got to be some fire there with that smoke.
Well, and he apologized to the owner. He apologized and said, "This is on me. I apologize for having you trade for him." So it had to be like a bad exit because it could not have gone well, which is odd. Because I'm like you, I want to believe that what we saw that first season and a half couldn't have been a mirage.
Well, his first season wasn't that great.
Well,
you're thinking about it was year 2.
It was his year 2, yeah. First season, he wasn't that great. I just know from watching them play because I'm a Giants fan.
Yeah, so maybe I'm revisionist history, but I was.
But actually, his career the last 2 years has looked a lot more like his rookie year. But year 2 was great, and when he came back, he was markedly better than what he was before the Indy year. But to stay in the division, or not the division, but to transition to another embattled QB, let's talk about Arizona and what they did. They let Edmonds walk, right?
Yeah.
Re-signed James Conner and Zach Ertz. Did they re-sign with him?
Yeah, so yes. Ertz ponied up, I think, for 3 more years. James Conner, they committed to Conner.
Yep.
I don't know what happened first there. I don't know if Edmonds left for Miami or if Conner signed first.
I think it was pretty simultaneous, but I think it was pretty obvious that they were committing to Conner and not Edmonds.
It's going to be beneficial for both because Edmonds is going to fit that scheme in Miami very well. Edmonds is a bigger Myles Gaskin, essentially. He's a guy that can catch and he can run the ball. And we all know my love affair with Chase Edmonds. I think he fits a lot of systems when he's given the opportunity to be the man.
So this makes me think, though, if they re-sign Connors and they re-sign Ertz, they're going to give Murray what he wants.
Yeah, I think so. But the thing I can't get around is allowing Christian Kirk to leave, that's a big deal.
Did you see the money that Kirk got?
Yeah.
Is it? Because
somebody let him walk.
Somebody forgot to put a decimal point between the 8 and the 4.
I think you
when
could
offering him
I
that
think you
contract.
could draft a guy that approximates what Kirk does and not.
I'm going to be honest with you. When I thought that Kirk would go for a decent amount, like when I thought he might go for 10 to 11 million, I wanted him for the Browns because I think he has tremendous upside. I think he's a really good route runner, fast.
But $84 million over 4 years. After hearing that, Devontae Adams said, "I will not play under the franchise tag," and he's currently seeking the NFL's very first $1 billion contract.
Anton, you played in the wrong.
Christian Kirk is setting the market.
Anton, you played in the wrong era, buddy.
That's crazy.
You played in the wrong era, man.
Numbers don't even make sense anymore.
Yeah.
Don't even
And you know what? We'll spin that to a couple other wide receivers who made some news. Cooper, we all know got traded to the Browns, and I don't want you to go on a Browns tangent right now.
Yeah.
But Dallas re-signs Gallup, the pair with CeeDee Lamb, who they're going to make their feature in that offense now, and I think it's deservedly so. I think
and Dalton Schultz, they re-signed Schultz as well.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, and Blake Jarwin walked.
2 years ago, 3 years ago, Blake Jarwin was the talk of the league. I think he still has talent. I'm going to be interested to see who picks him up because I think low key, I'd rather have Blake Jarwin and have the Browns cut Hooper, save $12 million.
They re-signed Njoku?
Yeah, they did.
Well, they franchise tagged Njoku.
Okay.
Well, but they signed him to a contract.
They extended him? Okay.
Yeah, they did. So he's got
He's a freakish athlete. I mean, they should.
Yeah. I think he'll line up almost in the slot receiver position that is vacated by Jarvis Landry. He's faster than Jarvis. He's bigger than Jarvis. It's time for him to kind of grow up and be that slot receiver.
Well, we mentioned that huge contract by Christian Kirk. Let's talk about Jacksonville a little bit.
Yeah, they've done a lot.
Jacksonville is spending some money. I don't even understand it. They are throwing dollars around like crazy.
Oh, I think it makes sense, but I want to hear your point of view.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, but they're throwing around a lot of money, man. Lot of money.
I like Kirk. I like Zay Jones.
Yeah.
I don't hate Ingram.
Zay Jones to me is low key.
I think they overpaid Ingram.
Great pickup.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. I don't even understand why they brought in a tight end that can't block or catch. I don't think that's exactly what
I've heard that they're thinking about moving him to wide receiver, which I think actually makes sense.
Well, that would make sense. But they already have Chenault there. What I like about the Zay Jones signing is with the addition of Kirk with Chenault, they're going to demand a lot of coverage because they're both very fast guys. And Zay Jones is a pretty decent 50-50 ball possession type receiver. I think Zay Jones, we might be in store for Zay Jones' best professional season this year.
Anton, when you played, was the tight end more of a blocker or more of a receiver?
Well, the first person that comes to mind is Mark Bavaro.
And
he's definitely a receiver.
Yeah,
my boy.
He could yeah. And I would say it was, I would have to say 50-50, but we still went to the tight end quite a bit, still used them quite a bit. Everybody didn't have them. That's probably why they didn't use them.
Yeah, I'm sure it depends on the player, right?
Yeah.
Did you respect a tight end that could block?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You love the tight end that could block because it actually helped them be able to get out late on routes. But, yeah, those guys were special, but wasn't as many as we see now.
Who was the best tight end you played against?
Played against or played with?
And against Navarro. So, I mean, he was a really, really, really good guy that understood, his value as a blocker and obviously catch the ball really well. So, I mean, he was probably the one, like I said, the one that comes to mind first.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to say that.
Was Keith Jackson before you?
Actually, Keith Jackson was on my team, and I probably overlooked him.
Where did he play? Where did Keith Jackson play?
Keith was more of a pure receiver. Say it again.
Where did Keith Jackson play?
Miami of Ohio?
No, I'm saying in college.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Sure.
I don't know where he played either.
All right. Thank God.
You guys are getting silly, man.
No, I was.
No, he's always trying to drop Ohio State.
Yeah. But I don't think he played at Ohio State.
I doubt he did.
Just saying that. So.
I think who else now? You got me thinking about tight ends, man.
Yeah,
I'm always thinking about tight ends.
What years did you play in the league? Yeah.
91 to 99.
Okay, so yeah, I mean there were some great tight ends during that that
Was
era.
Gonzalez in the league at that time?
Yeah. Gonzalez was in the league.
That was back when you were allowed
He
to
was
call them
early.
tight ends.
Yeah.
You're an
early.
idiot.
I didn't hear what he said, but I'm
It's all
ignoring
right.
it.
So I mean, there's
he had Jeremy Shockey too.
Yeah.
Jeremy
Another one
Shockey.
that
Yeah.
plays for the Giants.
Yeah.
Did you ever play against Kellen Winslow?
No, I did not. Seems like I might have had to, but I don't know if I actually had him on the schedule.
He didn't really make an impact, you know.
He's made an impact in jail. Now,
Yeah.
right. It's terrible. The Browns drafted him. It was another.
You're
terrible-
talking about junior, not
Yeah,
junior,
not senior.
Yeah. No, he made it. It's terrible. The
20
Browns-
years before that.
Browns drafted him. It was
Yeah, I was
terrible.
talking about senior.
No.
As
I was
were
talking
we.
about junior.
Rocky's the only one making a Browns reference here.
Rocky's old.
As always, I'm always making a Browns reference.
So I think there's one more team. I mean, there's a lot we could touch on, but I think we should talk about Tampa Bay with Tom Brady unretiring.
Jesus, this guy. Excuse my French.
I think,
God forgive me.
I think compared to the year they won the Super Bowl to before he declared that he was unretired, I think they're remarkably a worse team, but I think it's interesting I want to see how they reload. They went out and got Gage. They kept Godwin.
Yeah.
All right. So what else do we think they need? Do they go look for some more talent at running back?
I don't think they're worse.
No,
team.
I think they have to re-sign Fournette this year. I think they're probably going to keep him around because Ronald Jones is a free agent, so Ronald Jones will probably seek employment elsewhere.
Right, and they have Keyshawn Vaughn, who's showed promise at different points. I don't think they're worse, and I think that the NFC has gotten worse. They lost Russell Wilson, right? They lost. There's several. The talent shift seems like it's moved to the AFC.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it's still early to tell.
The quarterback talent's in the AFC.
Yeah, quarterback talent. So really, other than Aaron Rodgers,
Tom Brady, I guess you could mention the Black Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott.
Did you hear the comment that Amari Cooper, what he called Dak Prescott?
He said he was the Black Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, so supposedly Amari Cooper and Dak Prescott got into an argument, and this is the best cut down I've ever heard.
It's the best cut down because it's a little. Yeah. It's kind of true.
Yeah, Cooper called him the Black Kirk Cousins, and that did not go over well with Dak, and Cooper was banished.
Hey,
to
can we
Cleveland.
give Kirk Cousins some respect though?
Yeah,
the man knows how to get paid. I think he's made more money than any other professional football player ever.
And he was the second quarterback drafted by that team
I
that
respect
year behind
Cousins.
RG3. They were both drafted the same year.
And I think Cousins gets a bad rap. I think he's a good quarterback.
Oh, I think a lot of teams could win with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
You know, another quarterback that's extended his career and made a lot of money.
Mike Glennon.
And Colt McCoy.
McCoy.
He just got signed again.
He's a career backup, and he's a great backup.
But he's making a lot of money.
Tyrod Taylor, too, who you just showed me that the Giants signed as their backup.
Tyrod Taylor just signed with
I
the
like
Giants.
Tyrod Taylor as a
2
backup.
years.
Yeah,
I think we've needed the Giants have had a terrible track record of having backup quarterbacks since probably the last good backup they had was
I'm gonna break some news here.
Right, Kurt Warner and then Jeff Hostetler. Besides that,
the Browns are going to break my heart. They're going to sign Deshaun Watson. The Browns are going to trade Baker Mayfield to the Giants. I'm telling you, and the Giants are going to get rid of Danny Dimes. I'm calling it.
That's ridiculous.
I am calling it.
I think Deshaun Watson could go to the Browns, but them trading Mayfield to the Giants makes no sense.
He's going there, Seattle. Like there's a number of teams that
I can see Seattle
that were interested in Baker Mayfield. Which is crazy to me because
I take Drew Lock over Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's tough. I don't think I'd do that. But
it's tough.
I like Lock too.
Anyways, well, we could there's 100 more moves that we could talk about. But
I feel like we didn't talk about Brady so much though. Like,
okay, he's an attention whore.
Yeah,
I'm
here
so
we
tired
go.
of this.
That's why I wanted to bring it back. Here we go.
Anton, come on.
I feel like
what is this? 2 months?
I feel like he came.
Come on.
I feel like he came back because you're questioning the fact that he's the GOAT. So he wants to prove it to you.
true.
You should.
Okay.
You should take this as a compliment,
I am
Rocky.
surprised that he does. I am surprised that he does as many TikToks as he does. So, I mean, he don't need to do TikToks.
Rocky likes doing TikToks too, though.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it was.
Yeah, but Rocky's not.
We've kept Antone on
That's
too
true.
long. We've kind of worn out our welcome.
But
with
he
him.
is 2017 Man of the Year.
Yeah, I am. Well, I was double man of the year.
Double Man of the Year.
Antone, we appreciate you coming on, and as always, we look forward to talking to you. So thanks for adding some class
guys, man.
to this
Appreciate it.
mess.
Yep.
It was fun.
Thanks a lot,
All
bud.
right, thanks, Anton.
All right. I'll
All
see
right.
you guys.
With that being said,
Crossover. Jump shot. Hey, get him off. Finger roll.
I like to get your nuts off my leg.
No, I don't like that.
I like it because that's exactly what Mark said basketball was like for him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 100% what he said.
Yeah.
He did
not
say
even-
that.
yeah,
And
he
it was
did.
strange.
It was strange, right?
Apparently, he grew up playing basketball.
I'm just saying.
It was the one thing that he recalled.
L's are difficult to take, but when you have to have sweaty
All right.
balls on you, L's are
Where
even more
did you
difficult
play
to
basketball? Was it like
take.
a
Inner city San Francisco.
So like a penal league? Were you in a juvenile detention
Was it-
Did you say a
center?
penis league?
He said a penal.
Penal.
I think that was.
Is that another word for penis?
I think he directed this part of the show just so he could drop that. He was like he'd been working on that all week
It was
long.
it was layered.
Where was that a penal league?
All right.
I think it's a double entendre, isn't it?
Very good, very good. Yeah. I don't know. I just I've never said I played this sport and a part of the male anatomy touched me, and that's what I remember.
The only time I've thought about
Do you ever play
a guy's
quarterback?
balls on me.
Quarterback's disgusting, man. You have your hands up underneath somebody else's sweaty ass the entire game.
I'm in
You
the
know,
shotgun.
but listen, when
And then you smell the back of your hand. You're like, oh, what the fuck, man?
What is wrong?
what kind of crotches you getting under? Number one.
I mean, first of all, I'm in shotgun. Number one. Number two, why do you smell your hand?
Wait, what
Yeah,
high
thank
school? Wait, what high school did you play for where you're on shotgun? That's bullshit.
I didn't play high school quarterback. You did?
Yeah,
I don't believe this shit.
I did. I only played for a season because, like I said, I transitioned fully to baseball.
I got to see this.
But you suck,
I got to
though,
see
right?
this tape. Were you like,
I
Look
threw
how-
the-
he's very serious right now. So
No, I threw the only touchdown pass. Our team was awful, and I threw the only touchdown pass. So,
he was
Were
the
you
shining.
quick?
He was the bright.
no,
spot.
we had there was one touchdown pass the entire.
Well, it
season.
makes sense. That's why you were the quarterback because you guys were fucking terrible.
We once lost to a team, Pleasantville. It was 77-0.
that's a movie, Mark.
And I was sacked 30 sometimes.
Where did you live?
I was the leading rusher with 8 yards.
You played
you-
Pleasantville.
Were you quick?
Were you living in Springfield?
South Jersey.
Were you quick?
No.
No, look at him.
Hey, listen.
You don't
people
know
are
that shit, dude.
people
Because
are
I'm
surprised.
athletic. You're looking
Here
at me
we go.
now. I don't look athletic. I was super athletic.
No,
when
you
I was
look,
younger.
you look athletic.
Yeah, you look athletic. You look like you were an athlete for sure. But
Yeah,
I don't like
I'm
to
not
judge
No, you look
people.
really fast too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I mean, Phil-
Because I'm white, I can't be fast.
Yeah, it's
Well, I
exactly.
did not say that.
it's
He
exactly what
was exactly what he was insinuating.
it's
Wes
exactly-
Welker's pretty quick.
Get over there, Rocky.
That's your one, Wes Welker. Any other white guys you want to pull out that are quick?
Braxton Berrios,
Apparently, Scott Miller is the fastest man in the
Scotty
NFL.
Miller, Scotty Too Hotty. Listen, barber chairs where I get balls, guys' balls.
That's fair.
That you get a package rubbed on your arm. You know you gotta.
Yeah, that's
forget,
fair, but that's
and you
not
gotta-
a sporting event.
I know. I'm saying that's the only other time where I think of I'm conscious of a man's package around me.
Yeah, I'm trying to go.
Are you conscious at other times of it?
No, what I'm saying is, where do
It's
you
the only time
where do
where
you
the-
get your hair cut? Where they're that close, where they're up in your chair,
What do you mean? Your hands are on the side of the chair,
Yeah.
right,
and they're next cutting your hair. I mean,
right next to you.
I don't go to supercuts like you, so
I mean, I'm just
I
saying.
gotta go to real barbers.
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair,
that-
his chair is a lot lower than us.
That's true.
So the
That's fair.
crotch is like
We're not thinking about that.
banana on the face. Yeah.
it's like
I didn't say-
slapping him in the ear.
All right, now see you guys are taking a little too far.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about the brackets. So what are we?
Liam,
gonna
what
do
about
here?
the brackets?
So we're going to go through each region and kind of talk about our big upsets.
I do want to say something.
Yeah,
though.
go ahead.
He wants to defend himself.
No, Mark was supposed to cross-reference this bracket. In case we're off, it's Mark's fault.
Yes.
because he said he did, and I don't know if he did.
That's throwing under the bus, first off.
Well, yeah, I'm throwing you under the bus because you didn't confirm
Secondly,
whether you looked at it or not.
Some bitch, I did. I just said, you don't have to worry about it. I said, it's fine. You're like, but did you look at it? I said, don't worry, it's fine.
Well, that's not confirmation.
And I said, well, it says ESPN on there, but now I'm confused. I don't know. So you couldn't just take me at face value.
No.
Well, it did say ESPN, but then I said I printed it off last night.
And we know you're losing it a little bit too.
A little bit. And then this morning when I went to go fill out the bracket online, we have a little group friend, bracket. It was different. And so I was concerned.
He woke up, he was confused.
It's because he didn't realize that there's playing games tonight.
Yeah. No, it honestly seemed a little different even without the playing games.
This happened with my grandfather not too long ago.
So instead of it saying Rutgers/Notre Dame, it said Notre Dame/Rutgers, and you were just like, overload.
Legitimately, I'm concerned, and I asked you to do one simple damn thing.
I asked him too.
Yeah, and you didn't do it.
You stupid sons of bitches. I looked at it.
My mother wouldn't appreciate that. You're going to see her.
Looked at it.
Failed.
It's fine.
You failed. Okay, so
It's correct.
let's go. Okay, Mark, why don't you start off in the West and tell us what your biggest upset is?
In the West, I like New Mexico State over UConn.
Okay. Any
No, don't do that to him.
There's nope.
We don't watch college basketball, okay?
Yes, we're not nearly as in tune with the NCAA as you are.
I turn it on tonight,
Yeah.
and I just start picking guys that I like.
Okay, so it's kind of funny how we differ because I have UConn actually going to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
So it could be different. You could bust my bracket right there.
I'll bust your
You know what's
bracket all
crazy
day.
about it is that you know about it and I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, and that's probably why you're going to do better than me. My upset would be Vermont over Arkansas, 13 beating a 4.
I picked the same thing because I heard some guys talking about Vermont earlier today, and that's what I went with.
Yeah, Vermont defense, they are phenomenal. They can slow it down. And Arkansas, all they have is their scoring. So I kind of like that. I feel like normally good defense can win. You've always got that team like Yale that can
Defense travels.
You're right. It is crazy how different our brackets are because I have Arkansas going all the way to the round of 32.
Really? Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I have UConn beating Vermont in the Sweet Six in the round of 32. So okay. So then
Very
Bill and I
interesting.
we were the same.
I said all the way to the round of 32, and he was like, that's crazy. It's just the next round, Rocky.
Same thing. All right. Mark, take us to the East.
To the East. Who do I have here? This is the other region. Oh, I have a couple upsets here.
Well, we just want one.
Just one?
Yeah.
All right. I think you guys took the other one. I went San Fran over Murray State. I mean, not huge, 10 over 7, but I like San Francisco's prospects.
I tell you what, man. San Fran, the Dons.
I like that.
They have really turned that program into something that's pretty special. So it's a really good pick. I went Virginia Tech beating Texas.
I also took that.
Yeah, and I just like Virginia Tech, what they got working there.
Especially coming off of that big win over Duke for the ACC
Look at you
championship.
watching Sports Center, all right?
Yeah. It wasn't even sport. I think it was like the commercial for what was coming up on Sports Center.
Yeah, but either way, you got it. So
You got it right.
Phil, what do you got?
Nailed it.
I got the prestigious Yale over Purdue.
See, yeah, this
The
is
big
where
upset.
I differ.
Well, of course.
Well, I'm a Big Ten fan. I've watched a lot of Big Ten basketball.
Purdue's good.
Yeah, they are good.
But I like how Yale matches up. I heard somebody say that as well. So.
Who does Yale
But I'm
play
rolling
though?
with it.
Does Yale play like Harvard and like Colgate and Brown?
I think they played though.
Like Oxford and shit overseas. Like, who did they play any big schools?
Really?
Yeah, they
Oxford?
did. I think they played 4 pretty good. I think they actually played 4 teams that are in this.
How'd they do against them?
I think they were. I don't want to misquote. I know San Francisco played 4, and they were 2-2. So it was a really good, and they were close in the other 2.
No, we're talking about Yale, though.
Yeah.
This is kind of like trying to figure out like horse races. Like you look at the history of like who they'd raced and
Yeah. All right, let's go to the South.
Yale just feels right.
Yeah. It's a good blue blood school. White privilege. They probably bought this victory.
probably.
Purdue, yeah.
It wasn't even a victory. They
Purdue's a
just,
real Brown school.
They were sponsored in to the tournament
All right, let's go to the South. Phil, who do you got upsetting?
in the South.
The South. I was looking at the Midwest. Sorry, guys.
No, it's okay.
Who do I have? Oh,
Yeah, I know.
UAB over Houston. Jelly Walker.
Yeah.
I watched him the other night, and I'm rolling with UAB.
I actually did see some of Houston. Houston looks pretty good. It was like one of the only ones that I was kind of confident when I selected.
Houston?
Houston.
Come on. Jelly Walker, man. 27 points.
Oh, that's crazy.
Come on, his last game to clinch for the tournament.
Is that like a record in the NCAA?
No, but he looks pretty good.
All right, on to my sleeper.
Okay, sorry.
Somebody
Who's your sleeper?
only because they're playing an absolute pathetically shit school.
How would you know, though?
Because it's Ohio State. So I'm taking Loyola Chicago over Ohio State.
All right.
I like the burn.
Yeah. I can't
Solid.
disagree. I actually, in my own bracket, picked Loyola to beat Ohio State.
That's because you're one of those depressing fans.
No,
Like,
So
we're gonna lose.
You know
He's
what's
not so non-biased.
Nothing ever happens good to us.
You know what's sad about in 2020?
Let's go spell some shit, bird.
The bracket, March Madness was canceled because of COVID, and we would have gone in as a 1 seed, and I had them Ohio State outright winning. I thought.
What about
that was our
Dayton?
year.
Dayton was pretty good that year too, weren't they?
They were, but we were really good. And so it's amazing, like what a couple graduations can do. This is very rare for me. I actually picked University of Michigan to beat Colorado, 11 to beat a 6.
Wow, who are you?
Wow, this is the most.
Yeah.
This is rock. You just.
Yeah.
This is rude, huh?
This is rock bottom for you.
I'm a surprise. Yeah. So,
Wow.
all right, let's go to the Midwest. What do you guys got in the Midwest?
I got Miami over USC because Miami,
Yeah.
And USC, it makes sense.
just felt right. I like their colors. I like the bird,
Yeah. Yeah.
and throwing up the U is fun.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you like Miami in college sports?
When I was all right, so here's the thing. When I was a young lad, my father instilled in me, our main teams. But my father was a bit of a hopper honor. He liked.
I was waiting for what you're gonna say.
Yeah, I'm saying he would like teams. Now we don't have really a college team. I don't know in South Jersey if you guys like Rutgers, but
Yeah, Rutgers.
No.
we don't really. I mean, we probably followed St. John's more than we did Rutgers.
Yeah. I didn't even Rutgers existed until it was time to apply for college.
But my dad, he liked the Oilers because he liked Earl Campbell and their jerseys, or he liked certain teams. He just liked the U. Some reason, so we watched the U a lot when I was growing up, and we followed them.
I've liked them for the same reason, but I also liked I liked the actual cane when I was younger, like their mascot.
Bird, yeah.
The bird, the bird's awesome.
The ibis.
And you throw up the U, and it's a funny story, cool fact, right? When I was young, I used to say Urami. I used to call him Urami. Because Miami, I used to think when you said you were saying Miami, so I used to say Urami.
Urami.
Yeah.
No, certified idiot.
They had a lot of swagger for sure back then.
Oh,
They
yeah,
had a
look at-
lot of swagger.
The white guy says swagger.
Yeah. No, didn't they? I mean, didn't they? They did.
I like how he pronounces that with a hard R.
Hard R.
Swagger.
Had a lot of swagger.
You remember
Swagger.
that? You remember that
used to
game?
do some funky dances.
They came out of the bus. They were wearing
What about the Red
camouflage.
Rebels?
They were
Red Rebels
playing,
got some swagger.
Penn State that year in the bowl game for the national championship.
Oh, when they were like Miami.
Yeah. And they came out dressed in camouflage, and then Penn State.
Jimmy Johnson, Miami. He's talking about.
Yeah.
They were some bad boys.
The heyday, back before all the scandal.
All right, my big upset, and this is the biggest one I think I've got, is San Diego State over Providence. So taking down the 4 seed. I love Providence. Nothing wrong there. But San Diego State, I mean, they had quite a run, especially toward the end of the season. They won outright their league, looked really good doing it. They played, I believe, 4 teams also that are in this tournament, and they looked really good. Every single game was close. I just, there's always an upset, and I think they're going to be the one.
So I don't mean to burst your tournament bubble here, though. Do you mean South Dakota State?
Yeah, South Dakota.
Because San Diego State also plays in that.
He's getting old.
No. South Dakota.
And I
See, now I don't know what you
appreciate
mean.
you helping.
Now, did you do the research on San Diego State and the 8 seed is going to beat the 9 seed Creighton? Or did you
They get
truly-
shuffled around.
No,
He's
I
getting
definitely
old, man.
did South Dakota State.
South
That's even a bigger upset because South Dakota I don't think, has anybody ever been to South Dakota?
No, it's like population 18.
Of course.
Have you been there?
No.
Have you been there?
No.
It's pretty.
He looks like he came from there.
I hear it's
There's no
beautiful.
pirates in South Dakota.
I hear it's beautiful. I hear gorgeous scenery, nice lake, good fishing.
Which one of the 18 people that live there did you hear
The
this from?
plains. If you're a big plains guy,
I don't know.
if you're a big wheat guy, South Dakota is probably the state for you.
Well, anyway, South Dakota is going to take down Providence.
So what's your biggest upset? What is the biggest?
The 9 beating the 8. I got
ridiculous.
Creighton over San. This was the most straightforward bracket for me. I got Creighton over San Diego State, provided that San Diego State didn't close out the season really well on this huge run that Rocky gave credit to South Dakota State for.
No,
so now I'm praying.
It was South Dakota. It was South Dakota.
Close enough.
Yeah, South Dakota.
I'm saying overall, what was your biggest? What is everybody's biggest upset? I think mine is the Yale over Purdue.
Yeah, mine's the New Mexico State, the 12 over the 4, or 12 over the 5. New Mexico State over UConn.
Yeah, and mine would be what I just said, or else Vermont. I think that's another team.
Which one are you most confident in? I think my UAB is with my heart, it's the one I'm most confident in.
Probably because you know Jelly's name.
Yeah, basically.
Makes sense.
I kind of feel like I'm a little bit more confident that Vermont is going to win. But
Yeah, that one too. I'm confident in that.
Do you want to know why I hope UConn loses? This is pathetic. This is how bad I am at this. So I don't like UConn because I don't like their program, because I don't like their women's program, because I think the coach, Ariama or whatever his name, was a complete dickhead back in the day, and I didn't like the women's program. So now I hope their men's program suffers because of it.
There you go.
Go New Mexico State. You've got a new friend in me.
There you go. That seems like a really good reason to
That's
hate
a
us.
solid
It is a good
reason.
At least it's fair.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Both men and women alike.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, equality. I mean, that's what they want.
Oh, who's they? Who's they, Mark?
The woke nation.
Okay.
Hashtag I'm awake too, guys.
Are you awake?
All right, let's talk about our Final Four, guys.
Okay. Yeah. Who do you guys have? Because, we could do round by round, but that would get boring, I think.
Yes.
But so who do you guys have in the Final Four?
Let me hear your Final Four and then hear your champion.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
I didn't choose yet, so it's going to be on the fly. And
All right, so then I'll go.
Oh.
I got Gonzaga versus Kentucky.
yeah,
Kentucky winning. Villanova versus Kansas. Kansas winning. Kansas, Kentucky taking down John Calipari.
Okay. I like that. We actually agree on a lot of those.
I think is that who coaches Kentucky?
you go. Or you? No, I'll let you go last because you know the most. I also have Gonzaga, Kentucky, and I have Gonzaga beating Kentucky, and then I have Tennessee, Wisconsin. I have Tennessee advancing, and I have Gonzaga defeating Tennessee to finally
The Zags
win a national championship.
I
Yep.
I could get behind that because I love Gonzaga.
Holy shit, you have 2 threes going. Nice.
Yeah.
See, they're the kind of brackets that I always want to try to fill out, but I always find like these 1 and 2s.
It's easy to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather have like 13s and 10s in there,
Yeah.
I also have Gonzaga
like back in the Butler days.
playing Kentucky,
Okay.
and I have Kentucky winning.
Okay.
I have Kansas coming out of the Midwest and Arizona coming out of the South. I think Arizona is really strong. I have Arizona beating Kansas. And I have Kentucky versus Arizona, and I have Arizona winning.
Oh wow.
Upset. Yeah, I think Arizona's a solid team, top to bottom, really deep bench. And I hate Kentucky.
So you think it's going to be an all Wildcat final?
Yeah, yeah.
So all three of us had Gonzaga, Kentucky.
Yeah, we all had, yeah.
I'm the only one that had Gonzaga winning.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I love Gonzaga. Like, I would be happy with that outcome.
They're big guy, man.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Oh, the dude that's like
he's
8'5", like 42 pounds. That
He's a friggin' freak, man.
he is.
Yeah, but if he can gain like another 10 pounds.
Yeah, he's a young kid, but I mean, in the tournament, who's gonna guard him?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have, really just throw the ball to him. Let him
Yeah.
score.
He looks like a really white George Murison.
Looks like a
minus
looks
the
like a praying mantis.
muscle. He does actually kind of look like a praying mantis.
A praying mantis who plays basketball. Really. It does. That's kind of what it reminds me of. But
That's a clutch call right there.
All right, March Madness.
all right, March Madness. Let's go on to our next section. This is my favorite drop of all time.
Bats and balls and balls and bats and bats and balls and balls and bats and bats and bats and bats and balls and balls and bats and bats and balls and baseball.
really like that climax.
That's America.
I do. I really like that climax.
I just feel like the 4th of July when I hear that.
It's not like any 4th of July.
That's something to say.
No, I like the drop. I'm trying to figure out
I have
Rocky
never-
with the climax.
I've never experienced a 4th of July like that, but I don't know what your 4th of July are like.
You're not American. You're Italian.
You're Italian too. I don't know. What
I'm
you're
American. I was born right in America, in the heartland, Hoboken, New Jersey.
talking about. That's not the heartland.
It's the heartland to me, buddy.
Yeah. Okay.
That's probably more of America's city than Cleveland is.
Yeah. Here we go.
Just saying.
Birthplace of baseball.
Have you been to
Look
Cleveland
it up.
before?
No, but I've been to Hoboken. I know Hoboken's pretty cool.
I've been to both.
And I'm from Jersey, so I'm partial.
I don't ever cut. Well, I cut down Hoboken as a joke to you.
And
It's
I,
always a
but-
joke until
and I
it's
drove
not,
through
Robbie.
Ohio, and
But I
Ohio
don't-
was.
I don't really-
I slept through it.
I think Hoboken's a pretty good place. I've been there. I like it. It's nice.
Your opinion doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah,
but
well, it
thank
does
you.
matter. People hang on my words.
Because they kiss your ass. But
Well, that's fair. I'll take whatever I can get. But I've been to Hoboken. I liked it actually. It's a class place.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot in Hoboken now too. It's even better than what it was.
They're doing too much. In
Yeah,
Hoboken.
so
years
it's a lot
ago.
of money coming there. But Cleveland is a great American city. What city did you actually live in?
Yeah.
Jersey.
Let's not do that.
I lived in a little place called Villas, New Jersey, in between Wildwood and Cape May.
You might as well be from a trailer park.
So nobody's ever heard of Villas.
Were you really from Cleveland, or were you from an outskirt of
I
Cleveland?
was from Cleveland.
All right. Well, I mean, Villas is in
I was from the
Cape
we
May's
talked about
area
this.
code.
We talked
So
about
he's from
this.
the worst place out of all three of us.
I'm
Cape
from
May.
the Spaghetto.
What do you do? Dude, I'm from the
shared this.
nicest place of all three.
Well, no, yeah, in those terms.
Well,
yes,
yeah,
but-
because you're white privilege.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
can't help that.
But you're like from the most obscure place of all three of us.
South Jersey? Cape
No,
May?
you see,
Dude, Cape May's on the
that's
map,
the point.
dude.
Is that you had to, you got to include the whole region because where you're actually from is nowhere.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, well, I mean, because it's all
From
little
South
towns.
Jersey, you included half of the state.
Yeah.
Hey, when I leave,
Well, no, when you grow up in South Jersey only consists of like Cape May Courthouse to
Yeah,
the
I
Bay.
listen, when I leave Florida, I don't say I'm from Claremont. I say Orlando, because nobody's going to know where Claremont is.
That's fair.
That's what you're doing. All right. Well, there's been some big moves.
I like how he comes back in every time, like on the high,
All right,
like talking down.
It's my voice.
And I'm back in the chair.
No, you talk like the graphic just moved away on ESPN in there.
All right. Well,
And now we're gonna kick it out to Rocky for
Yeah.
what's big.
the nuts on your back. That's what's big.
Not on my back, on my leg. I'm tall. Maybe on his back, not mine.
Maybe on the shoulders. All right. All right.
As a
We're
idiot.
going to get to the MLB Free Agency, and there has been quite a lot of big moves already.
And we got them all right here.
So, Phil, why don't you lead us? Because I think you're,
Okay.
of us, I think you and Mark are probably bigger baseball fans than me. My team has been in the shithole for a while, and so, we don't have unlimited pockets like the Yankees,
Well, yeah, I mean, but a lot of teams have unlimited pockets.
I
I don't
know.
know why you turn that at me. I mean, the Yankees made a big move, but
Yeah.
I think the bigger part of that is that I think it means they're out on a few big guys like Correa and Story. I'm hearing now that Correa is maybe going to sign the 1-year deal with the Astros,
Yeah.
and because I think he fired his old agent and he's with Scott Boras now, and they want to avoid having to pay out the percentage to the old agent. Well, I don't know why I'm telling you this, guys, but anyway, he's going to sign a 1-year deal just so he can sign the big deal after, and Boras can get the percentage. So, it's funny because the Yankees made this trade for, and I can't say this guy's name from the Twins, but Donaldson, their shortstop,
Yeah.
IFK. That's what I call him, IFK.
Yeah. Falafel, I believe, or something along those lines.
Not even going to try.
Well, he's a good defensive shortstop, but it's kind of a stopgap because they got a few shortstops
In their system.
Their top prospects are shortstops. But they could have went and got Correa and signed them for a year if that's what they're going to do in Houston. And I don't know. It's Yankees are being less and less Yankee-like lately, and I think other teams are becoming more and more like what the Yankees were, 10 years ago.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. I do. I've seen that transition because in the past, the Yankees would always go out and they'd sign the top offensive players and the top pitchers every year. And now you're finding that they're only getting some here and there because I think the market's kind of caught up now. A lot of people with their sponsorships, their media deals, and then their merchandising, I think now it's put more pockets in or more money in the pockets in the these smaller market teams.
I think the biggest thing is George dying and just the changing in philosophy. I think they're just trying to be more responsible. But
I think too, I think that there's the teams like the Yankees, and there's probably only a couple, right?
There's probably 5.
Yeah, the Dodgers,
Red Sox, Mets, the Mets now.
Well, now
Mets have the most. Mets have the most money.
Yeah, well, that's what's crazy is as a Mets fan. Well, first off, that Ponzi scheme thing like decimated New York for quite a while.
It doesn't matter anymore, though.
No, it doesn't. And the Mets were always the little brother of the Yankees. And as a Mets fan, it was frustrating.
Still are, but
when they would sign big talent, it would always be late in their careers, like Delgado late in his career. Like when they would sign really, really really big studs. Now, as a Mets fan, it's fun, man. You see, like they're making an attempt. Our biggest signing was before the lockout with Scherzer.
Yeah,
bringing Scherzer to town to follow up DeGrom, and then they just went out and they traded for Bassett from the A's the other day.
Yeah.
Shout out real quick to Pete Alonso. I hope you're all right, buddy. Apparently, he was broadsided yesterday down in Port St. Lucie, and his car rolled 3 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he said he'd be at practice this morning.
Wow, that's pretty tough.
Yeah.
So I do think that like there are more of the haves than ever before, though. I think that there's probably 5 or 6 of those teams. I think Atlanta's there too, to be honest with you, because they get a lot of money from their, they play a lot of games exclusively on the,
it's the regional sports networks.
Yeah, and they just ponied up, man. They were just ponying up for Matt Olson. They just paid him $168, knowing that Freddie's going to walk here, which is probably the biggest offseason
Well, and who's
move.
getting Freddie? Is it going to be Boston?
I've heard Toronto.
Really, and I heard L.A. I heard that the Dodgers want to bring.
Well, he's
I
from
heard
California.
L.A. and then I heard Boston was getting in the mix, and I had not heard Toronto yet.
I heard Toronto today.
There's not very many teams that shouldn't be in the hunt for Freddie Freeman, quite honestly, especially now with the DH and the NL. Like even if you have a solid first baseman like the Mets, bring in Freddie because his defense is amazing, his offense is incredible, and then you have Alonso as your DH.
Yeah, the DH changes things a little bit.
It's a long time coming.
Yeah, well, I think you had to be even. Like this kind of got old. Of the NL and the AL being different. It never really made sense.
Well, it stopped making sense when you have interleague play as much as you do now. And they're not
this is
two
be even
leagues.
more interesting now because now part of this new agreement, you're going to be playing less games in your division. You're going to be playing every team.
Yeah.
At some point during the season, right?
A lot of rule changes. I mean, is that starting not this season, right?
I don't know if it's this season because I would imagine the schedule was already made.
Yeah.
But it's coming up, and I think you're right. Now with that rule coming out, it's going to have to be, like you said, more of the same. It's the same league.
Yeah, it's not what it was before.
Yeah, and you look at like the Washington Nationals just went out. As soon as
see, there's another team that probably has the money if they want to spend.
Yeah,
it. And then you've got the Cubs and the White Sox who have no excuse. They got more money than God.
Yeah, now with the DH in the National League, Washington goes out and signs probably one of the greatest DH hitters of our generation in Nelson Cruz, and brings him into town.
Yeah,
and I mean game changer.
Yeah. Yep.
It's no longer, and you no longer have the pitcher coming up and is an inning killer, or having to lay down sacrifice bunts. Like you can actually play like good, legitimate chess-like baseball now. Not have to worry about how you're gonna figure out getting around the pitcher spot.
I'm going to be curious though to see kind of what the new agreement does though for the smaller teams, because I think that there are still a few smaller market teams that really their only way to compete has been through building their farm.
Tampa Bay is a prime example.
Yeah, and well, Cleveland.
They're the best at it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they've been.
And Cleveland's
really
pretty good.
Yeah, Cleveland's been good. I think at various times Milwaukee's been pretty good with it too. To be honest,
the Diamondbacks have been good at raising farm talent.
Yeah, Indians have been great at pitching. The Rays have been good in both. And it's been phenomenal.
Yeah, they're annoying.
Yeah, they are annoying with their talent scouting. But
because every year they're in the mix, and you're like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
Like you try to name 3 offensive players, and you can't.
Well, the issue is they just never have the money to go and sign that player
long term.
at the trade deadline.
Yeah, they're kind of forced to be as
what they
good
are.
as they are
Yeah.
at scouting.
And
But
so they have to kind of catch like lightning in a bottle to win it all, like they did, recently, and like the Indians almost did against the Cubs. That was their chance. And then the next year it reset because they lost a couple pitchers. They, can't sign. They lost Lindor.
there's still a few big names still out there. I know Chris Bryant's been connected to the Nets too.
Yeah.
To the Mets.
Yeah.
Carlos Correa, we mentioned before, is still available. Trevor Story is another shortstop still available.
Yeah.
Do you guys? Oh well, Nick Castellano didn't he get signed yet?
There was a lot of rumors about where he was going, but I don't think he's got signed anywhere yet.
Kenley Jensen, Rizzo, who I think will wind up back with the Yankees. Michael Conforto is still unsigned.
That one's going to hurt for me. Conforto is a ball player. I really like Conforto in New York.
Nelson Cruz, he signed a 1-year deal. It was only a 1-year deal.
Yeah. Well, I think he's 40 this year.
41. Yep. Michael Pineda, Zach Greinke. Yeah, I mean, when that deal got consummated, I think there was something like 300 free agents. So it's going to be a crazy time. And
the pitfall or the windfall of it all is going to be the Freeman signing, because once Freeman signs, then everyone's going to know that they're out on on that big market talent. So now all the other dominoes are going to fall into place because Freeman's going to end up signing the largest contract.
Oh, the problem when Freeman signs, all the other first basemen on the market are going to have
the dominoes fall.
The leverage though, like Rizzo. I'm hoping the Yankees just ink Rizzo now.
Yeah.
Before Freeman signs, because then he's going to have so much leverage and you're going to overpay him.
Well, and I think like you're saying, you're 100% right. He's going to set the market. It's probably going to be, an expanded market, which Rizzo's then going to have all the leverage, and the price for him is going to already be moved.
Yeah, and then
because somebody's overpaid for Freeman,
and he knows that they need him.
Yeah, but if you're Rizzo, why do you sign? Like, you wait, right? It's in your best interest.
Yeah.
Although with baseball, being able to have longer careers, you normally have the chance to have, sign a couple contracts.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, like didn't we talk about this last week? But the way their system is set up, a lot of these guys aren't earning, unless they're like absolute studs.
Yeah. Aren't
earning until like their mid to late 20s. So
yeah,
I think it kind of evens out.
Yeah, it's usually 25 when they sign their first big contract. That was unbelievable with Trout a couple years ago before his 25th birthday. He was still under contract. He was making like less than $1 million a year, and he ended up signing. It was the largest retention bonus ever in the history of Major League Baseball by like $800,000, and it was $1 million. It was $1 million retention. You're like, how is that possible when these guys are signing $350 million contracts? And it's because the rules in baseball and how he was under still like the all those rookie deals.
I'll tell you what though, I think the way this lockout went, it's kind of been a blessing in disguise, because I don't know about you guys, like the hot stove stuff. I pay attention, but baseball, where it falls now amongst the other top sports, it kind of gets lost in the shuffle, especially early in the year. I mean, you get up for opening day, but having it all, the attention with the labor dispute, and then you get like a flurry of these moves, and then you're going to be quickly moving to spring training and opening day. I think they have a little bit of momentum, more momentum than they've had in the last few years.
I hope so, because like 6 or 7 years ago is when they made the push where the winter meetings were all of a sudden a huge deal. They were televised. They were coming to you. The MLB Network had all these different programs dedicated to it, and they were really kind of throwing it in your face. And it was fun to watch because you're watching these mega deals go down right in front of your face. And you're like, yes, it was exciting, as a fan. And then COVID hit and all that kind of took a back seat. So I hope it picks the steam back up.
I just think, though, they're going to have, and I don't know if they did anything. I don't think they did in this agreement. I think they're going to have to do something to change the game a little bit. And
they have.
Well, because they're going to have to make it quicker.
Well, there is going to be a pitch clock.
Yeah. Well, and that's going to help. But, I very rarely have that much time to watch a complete game.
I think the pitch clock is a big deal because I think the game, it's not that the game, it's the pace of the game. Like if you have I don't think it's necessarily the length, because you watch a football game 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah.
So it's not the length of the game; it's the pace of the game, and then
Well,
it's
but the difference is,
the
though,
pitcher could go up there and take 30 seconds to make a pitch.
yeah, but the difference is football's 1, maybe 2 days a week at most.
That's
If
true.
you're a hardcore fan, you're maybe watching 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Baseball's every night.
Oh yeah, but I don't think it'll ever have what football has because of that. But I just think the pace of the game is more so than the length of the game, just the pace of it. And I think pitching is probably the biggest culprit. I mean, when you allow a guy to just take as much time as he needs, it slows everything down. I do think the DH is going to help a little bit.
Help with scoring, which they need,
But, you want to see more balls put in play. And I don't know how they're going to address that. It's tough to do.
I mean, I hate to say it, but you better cork the hell out of that ball. I mean, or cork the bat. They don't like that. They didn't like it, but that's an exciting, when the home run derby.
I can't believe I forgot this. They outlawed. They got rid of the shift, so that's going to help.
Yeah,
because
it's about time they got rid of the shift. Honestly,
but I mean, what we need is another, Sosa, Bonds.
I don't think that's
home
what it
run
is,
dirt.
That would help.
Yeah,
it's fun.
But I think people, and you're still gonna have the guys that are saying, "Well, I'm gonna hit over the shift, whatever." But it's gonna force guys. I mean, guys are not gonna be those hitting for average guys that have adjusted and did the launch angle stuff. You're gonna have gaps to hit into again. So I mean, that's when before the shift, that's when I loved watching baseball.
You're going to see ERAs, unfortunately, rise big time here because there was great game planning as far as the shift was concerned, which I hated because I did feel like it was taking away what the game was meant to be.
Yeah.
And in recent years, I'm a big time pitching fan. For me, in recent years, we have had some dynamic pitchers. Being a Mets fan, Jacob deGrom. Every time he's on the mound, there's the threat of him throwing a no-hitter, which I absolutely love to watch. I mean, you're watching history when that happens.
Yeah, but to expand on your point, it's not really baseball. You want base running. You want guys making catches, throwing people out at the plate, and it's just not happening as often.
I mean, you want the heyday of the St. Louis, teams where they were stealing bases. They, it was really a tactical game.
You just want the ball in play.
And the worst part of the shift too, it used to piss me off to no end, is there's this unwritten rule that you can't bunt to the opposite side of the field when they have a shift on. Well, then don't shift me.
Yeah.
Play me how you would normally play me and allow me to hit into these gaps, or else I am going to force a bunt down your goddamn throat.
I think anything's in play. I hate, for baseball, there's a lot of unofficial rules.
Yeah, the unwritten rules are probably
more than any
hurt
other
the sport the most.
Yeah. But anyways, I don't know. But any other free agents you want to talk about? I know that Hand was signed. He left.
Where did he go? Because there was rumor he was coming to New York.
I don't think I felt like he went out west somewhere.
Because Yuri's Familia just signed with the Phils, which hurts. I hate that because I loved Familia. Yeah. Now he's gonna be in the
Didn't the
goddamn Philly
the
uniform.
Mets just sign another reliever?
Yeah, they've signed a couple of relievers, but the two big names, they just signed 2 huge starters. That'll be 2 and 3 in the rotation. That's Scherzer and Bassett.
Yeah, Bassett. Yeah, they traded for Bassett though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, nothing that
the
I
Phillies.
can think of
The
right now.
Phillies have signed Brad Hand to a 1-year deal worth $6 million, and I think he's still got some.
The Phillies signed Hand too.
Yeah.
Wow, so they're really shoring up their bullpen. Familia and Hand, and they have Neris at the S end of that.
Yeah, I think that last year they struggled though, closing out games.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Well, I think I am excited that baseball was able to get everything settled, actually get the season started. I think, like you said, of all the sports, opening day is the purest. To me, it's the most exciting.
Have you guys
opening day of any
Have you guys
sport.
attended opening days?
Yeah,
I've never.
No, it is, dude. It's amazing. It's unbelievable. There's so much fanfare.
Yeah,
it's just electric. Even if your team sucks, it's electric. And I remember the best one I ever went to. It was Mets opening day, and we were
Shea Stadium or Citi Field?
No, it was at Citi Field, and Mets were losing, and we were getting ready to walk out, the wife and I, and ended up loading the bases, and sure enough, there was I believe a double and the gap hit, 3 runs scored. They ended up winning in the bottom of the 9th. So it was fantastic.
Yeah, this was going way back, and this will never come back. But I remember in the 70s going to like opening days with the Indians and like paying for really cheap seats. And then
or cheap sheets.
Then being able to walk right up down to the third base because there was no fans.
Oh, yeah. That was like the Nets when they were in New Jersey.
Indians were terrible. And they actually had one year where they had opening day doubleheader, which was fantastic. Crazy. But, well, for me, I was a kid.
Yeah.
I think I was like 8 or 9. My brother-in-law took me, and we had, all day baseball was fantastic,
Best player you ever saw live?
Barry Bonds, Sr.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, he had a really good swing. That's probably not true because I did see Ken Griffey, Jr., and I think of anybody, his swing was fantastic. To me, it's the best swing I've ever watched. But I liked Barry Bonds or Bobby Bonds Sr. I'm blanking on what his name was because he was like the first star the Indians had during my childhood. And just to see him, he carried himself differently. You could tell that this was like a big deal. So I kind of grew up, emulating him a little.
You said big, a sweet swing. A swing that I absolutely love that I watched Homer live was the crime dog, Fred McGriff. Fred McGriff had a sweet swing too. Did he spend time in Cleveland?
I think he may have at the end of his career because there was a while where the Indians and Braves kept trading back and forth because we had a Justice.
Oh yeah,
we traded Lofton to them for Justice, and it was kind of a open season back and forth for a
Bobby
while.
Bonilla.
That's who.
No.
Who's the greatest player you saw?
Probably.
You're a Yankee fan. You've seen a lot of greats, obviously.
Well, that I've actually went and seen. You're saying?
Yeah.
In person, it was probably A-Rod or Jeter.
Yeah.
Okay. What about who's your favorite player of all time?
Baseball
of your team? Yeah, of your team.
Mine's
Jeter.
Mine's Strawberry.
But you know who's, and I like Strawberry a lot too. Yeah. When we won with him. But you know who I like? I liked Paul O'Neill. I liked a lot, and Bernie Williams.
I liked
probably close seconds.
Hands down, my two favorite, Omar Vizquel.
I liked Omar Vizquel.
Yeah,
but I loved
Vizquel.
And I loved Jim Tomei. I loved
Jim Tomei.
Just
there's a bunch of them living here in Claremont.
Yeah. He's didn't seem like he made sense.
Had no lips.
Yeah,
either no lip.
Didn't seem like he should have been anything. Didn't seem like he was overtly athletic.
Yeah.
But he just was good.
Yeah, I like Jim Tomei.
I got the privilege to watch Bo Jackson play. Royal. We were in. It was actually my very first baseball game. We went down to Baltimore.
That's cool.
Kansas City.
Royals were playing at Camden Yards, and Bo did one of his signature run. He just tracked a ball and ran up the wall.
He made
caught it on the run.
There?
But yeah,
for that the highlight or a different one.
Not the one, but that's like his signature move. Like he tracked it down before the wall, but still ran up the wall because he wasn't a guy that hit the wall and bounced off like all these guys do. His signature move was to run up the wall, and he pulled one of those, dude.
I had Bo nose stickers in my room.
He may have been honestly the best athlete ever. I'm trying to think of a better. I think physical athlete.
He was probably the best.
Maybe Herschel Walker.
An argument for Deion Sanders, who you hate, but
no. I agree with you. I just felt like there was a lot more holes in Deion's game in baseball.
But I think there's probably holes in Jackson's game. In football.
Yeah, but he made it to the All-Star game, right?
Well, I'm saying football.
Oh no.
Well, he was a physical freak, but
man, I think he was just. Him as a runner.
He was a great runner, but he wasn't. That's all I hear about him.
Yeah.
I was too young to remember.
But you got Deion.
He was a great blocking guy. If he caught all that,
I wouldn't know all that either.
You got Deion. You got Bo. Who else would even be in the conversation?
Michael Jordan.
Well, would you put MJ?
No, he sucked at baseball. He was awful at baseball.
Well, he played enough to. Was he AAA?
He was not. Yeah, he wasn't good. Honestly,
average like 240, something like that.
I would probably put him, no joke, in the same category as like Tim Tebow. Transitioning to, he should have stuck.
So who else?
Basketball.
Is there anybody else?
Basketball, the greatest person we're ever talking about. Baseball, mediocre.
There's, what I've always wondered is why has never been a, you see where they're playing baseball or football, There's never been a basketball, football, basketball.
Who was the Atlanta had another guy too, another really fast guy.
Randy Moss. He was a really good college basketball player.
And he also was drafted into the Major League Baseball too.
Yeah, so maybe Randy Moss.
I mean, you got Kyler Murray, who was drafted.
It's a little early on Kyler.
Yeah, well, I mean,
he was drafted first round by the
Russell
A's.
Wilson too. So
yeah, Russell Wilson. So
before
John
Kyler.
Elway. John Elway was drafted in the first round of the baseball.
You almost
draft.
wonder what could have been, And nowadays with the ease
Drafted
of
by the Yankees,
transportation,
right?
Who Elway?
Yeah,
I don't remember who, but I know that he went fairly high too because they were hoping that he'd come out, and I'm pretty sure he was a pitcher.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know he was drafted by. Was he drafted by the Colts?
I
And
thought
said
he was drafted by. Oh no, in the NFL, yes.
Yeah, Colts, and then he said no. Forced his way to.
Yeah, he was going to play baseball, and then that's when all the famous tabloids came out where he would stand on home plate and throw the ball over the center field fence.
Did you see the footage of this guy's pro day? It was like going viral yesterday from Justin Herbert.
No,
Throwing the 65 yards flat-footed from the end zone.
Oh, I've seen that.
That's pretty crazy.
you gotta look at. There's video exists of Cardell Jones.
I saw that.
Yeah,
12 gauge.
from his knees. He could throw the ball like 65 yards.
Who was the
Boy's
other?
got a cannon.
Who was the other quarterback at the time? Because there's another viral video
JT Barrett.
where Barrett steps into one and throws it like 60 yards, and Cordell Jones just like kind of like gingerly like walks up and throws a seed like 70.
You know, you guys got to catch on. We're just going on a.
Yeah,
But
That's all right. You can trim the fat.
yeah, thank you.
yeah.
ESPN Classics. They play a lot of the NFL, the quarterback competitions. Have you ever watched those?
Oh, dude, they're
Those
the
are fun.
best.
Yeah, they're great.
I miss those. It reminds me of the NFL Quarterback Club on Genesis.
Yeah.
I don't know that
Too old for
the
that.
quarterbacks nowadays would want to be part of that.
I
They
think
have
they
a lot
would.
more to lose. don't
No,
you
because
think?
they do like a small semblance of it now at the Pro Bowl with the targets and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I think
I think they would do it.
there'd be a lot of sore
It's
losers,
too much-
a lot of pride.
It's too much video.
I don't
now.
think so, man.
I mean, back then you watched the show live or you didn't see it.
I think your bonuses should depend on it. You should prove that you're top 5 at your position. You want to start making it more competitive.
It's
and
an
less-
all-star game, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
You can't make their bonuses depend on that.
you sure as shit can if you work it into their contracts.
But they would have to make the Pro Bowl first.
No, I'm just saying at the end of the year, just not even a Pro Bowl.
okay.
Everyone has to
Say like a
compete.
standalone competition. This sounds like a classic Mark
Yeah.
idea.
I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go with that. So
And the bottom 10% are relegated to play another sport.
yeah.
Yeah, there it is. There's the show. I mean, looking
Hey.
forward to March Madness. It's gonna be a crazy weekend.
I want to tell everybody, don't bet. Don't go by any of our advice.
No, go by mine. Mine's good.
Listen, we were taking underdogs. Like we were looking for underdogs.
Yeah, the underdog. But
No,
if you're gonna pick an underdog,
Yeah. It's South Dakota State.
Yale.
UConn is going down. There's solid reasons as to why.
Yeah. You just don't like dogs. That's what it is. You're
Yeah,
afraid
he
of
hates
huskies.
dogs.
You're afraid of huskies, aren't you? Do you have a dog?
Dude, that's even
does have a dog.
Yeah. Yeah, our dog's awesome too. No, it's even the worst emblem too.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean,
about
it's like
that.
a straightforward, like I could have drawn it.
I don't know. I think the worst emblem is the Zips.
I don't know what that.
Akron Zips. What the hell is that?
Dead air right here. What the
That's a
hell?
zip.
What is it? I don't know.
Anyways, where are we going to go with this?
I don't know. We're done, man. March Madness is coming. What are you playing?
He was looking for
So
the
hey, look for us on YouTube, Twitter,
Facebook.
the Instagram,
TikToks.
We're big on TikTok.
We are.
Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Hit the notification bell.
Hit it.
Check us out. We release these episodes every week, and we do some shorter ones. And on TikTok, we got a bunch of clips. Just like, subscribe, comment. We're gonna start giving out a phone number here. We got to do that this week.
Yeah, and check out our new show, Guys on Draft.
Guys on Draft.
Yeah, we had our first episode last week, and people watched.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few people.
Did they?
Yeah. All right, guys.
I did.
Peace.
Peace.